Who here knows how to do a backflip? Or how about lift a person above their head? Or even toss a girl into a 360 up in the air and the flyer has to know how to stay balanced and stick the landing. Good morning. My name is Katrina Pacheco, and today I'm here to convince you all that cheerleading is definitely a sport. When you think of a sport, what comes to mind? For some it may be basketball, others baseball or football. But what about cheerleading? Did you all know that Iona College has a cheerleading team themselves, and this team is going to be a competitive squad this upcoming year? So as a cheerleader myself, today I'm here to give 3 key points as why cheerleading is a sport. My 3 points are: 1, the definition of what a sport is, 2, how cheerleading correlates with this definition, and 3, the statistics of it all. So what is a sport? A sport is an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against one another. So what about cheerleading? This brings me to my second point. According to Webster's dictionary definition of what a sport is, the competitive cheerleading is a suitable fit. However, people still continue to argue that cheerleading is not a sport. So let's break this definition into parts. A sport is an activity involving physical exertion. When you picture an athlete, what do you picture? For most, it's someone who is toned or in shape, with toned arms, or defined legs or defined arms. Well, in cheerleading, workouts are required in order to do the things you do in cheer. You build abs and lots of arm and leg muscle, and a great amount of endurance. When it comes to cheerleading, how do you expect to get the girl up into the air? It requires a lot of leg muscle and a lot of arm and ab muscles. And when it comes to routines and you do them over and over again, don't you think you get tired? It requires a bunch of endurance. A sport requires skill. Are you trying to tell me that doing backflips and flying and dancing doesn't require any kind of skill? And lastly, in which a team competes against one another or others. Teams practice year-round to prepare for competitions, and these competitions are like no other. These competitions are usually within like a 2-minute amount of time, and you get a one shot at it. Teams and stunting groups will practice their routines over and over again, but when it comes to competition, you only get one shot. As opposed to soccer, you get multiple times to shoot a goal. Also, not to mention, cheerleading has its own fair rules in its game, which must be governed by the varsity rules that explicitly define exact timing, space, and purpose of the contest and conditions under which a winner is declared. And lastly, my main point number 3, the statistics of it all. Cheerleading is very dangerous. According to my data, According to data from Consumer Product Safety, cheer has experienced a sharp rise in the number of emergency rooms since 1980. In 1980, here you see that there was 4,954 visits. 1986, 6,911. In 1995, 16,982. In 2000, 22,603. And in 2002, 24,675, with 1.4 being concussion related. The study of junior and senior high school cheerleaders found that 37% had symptoms of concussions but failed to report them. According to the New York Post, research published in the Journal of Pediatrics noted a sharp increase of hospital emergency visits by cheerleaders from 4,954 visits in 1980 to 26,786 visits in 2007. So there has been an increase of 21,832 visits. Patients being cheerleaders since 2007. This study noted that this sport accounts for 66% of catastrophic sports injuries, kinds that even shorten lives or result in permanent disability. This tells you that cheerleading is even more dangerous than football when it comes to this rate. So in conclusion, I have given you three main reasons why cheerleading is a sport. The first main point was explaining how cheerleading was a sport and what was a sport. My second point was how cheerleading relates to a sport. And my third point was the statistics of it all. So now can you agree with me that cheerleading is a sport? This is where my argument ends. Not because of any physical definition. As you can see, cheerleading does meet all the requirements of athletic specifications. But because cheerleading's primary purpose is to support its high school and college athletic teams, and competition comes second. If you think you have what it takes to be this hardcore of an athlete, come try out for Iona College's cheerleading team May 7th. Thank you. My name is Katrina Pacheco.